Everyone, my name is Jorge Arbolí. I'm from Spain. I'm the president of the Finance Club, IESE Finance Club. During this whole year, I'm a second-year student, MBA student, and I'm here to try to introduce you the IESE Finance Club, what we do, who we are, and in which ways we can help you. So first of all, here's the whole team of the Finance Club leadership for 2020-2021. With us, they're here Natalia Kruger and also Roberto Siman. They're the executive VPs for asset management and wealth management. We are a team of around 16, 18 people, depending on requirements at the end. We also have external board of directors that supervise the activities and the structure and what we work on over the year. They are actually current alumni that are working in financial institutions. So let's talk about the Finance Club in general. Well, first of all, on the top right corner, you have the QR for our webpage on LinkedIn. In case you want to follow us, we normally post a lot of interesting news, articles, activities that we perform, speakers that we are trying to bring to school to share their experiences with us. So it's a nice way to interact with the club and to actually stay tuned of what we are doing for the club. Said that, the Finance Club in general, what we do. So we are a professional club run by students that we are focused on mentoring and networking through the tools that we have in the schools in order to you to succeed on your career as a finance professional. So for that, we have like a mentorship program. We have different workshops regarding the perfect CV for an investment bank. For example, we also review all the cover letters. Actually, we are in the middle of reviewing, I would say, like dozens of cover letters in order to apply for investment banks. Bull bracket, we're talking about headquarters in London, great institutions. And we also run a lot of master classes over the year in order for you to prepare to run the extra mile in terms of preparation so you can actually nail your interviews. So club activities, general idea and core activities. As I was saying, mentorship program, this is like guidance that we provide for first years in order to succeed in your professional aspirations. So when you come to school, you have to actually figure out where do you want to go, because it could be a bit overwhelming when you join the school and you find out like there are a lot of different clubs. But at the end, you have to be very focused on targeting a nice internship for the summer in order to get a nice full-time offer at the end of your MBA. So for that, we run the mentorship program. We cooperate very closely to CDC, which is Career Development Center of IESE. And we develop like technical training, workshops, mock interviews. We normally bring speakers to the school. This year, everything is kind of on Zoom as we're doing this session right now. And we also develop like networking events in order to foster the community among the members of the club, among the members of the alumni, IESE alumni. Yeah, this year is a very special one. We have the possibility to develop a lot of events through Zoom. Actually, I see that as a good thing indeed, because we are able to join like people from the US, from London, from everywhere at the same time, and actually speak to them in a very nice setup. So I would say that there are like four or five different career paths related to finance as MBA candidate. These are investment banking, private banking, asset management, corporate finance or finance for corporations, and PEVC, private equity and venture capital. So the club always does a lot of activities, as I mentioned before, networking, technical master classes, CV and CL reviews, alumni mocks, external consultants that come to school to help you prepare fit and technical. Well, this is just a brief summary of how important are the activities that we normally perform in the club. Requirements to succeed. So yeah, this is on all of you at the end. So even though the club is here to help you a lot, at the end, this is about you, about your technical skills, your motivation, your networking skills, and your fit. So this is like a whole environment in which you have to develop all these 4 pillars in order to get a good internship. We are here to help you develop not only your technical but also your fit, because at the end you might think that, well, I want to go into an investment bank, I haven't done anything related to finance before coming to the MBA. I should be focused a lot on technical skills. Well, don't worry, you're gonna have assigned a mentor that's gonna guide you through this process. I'm also well, I can talk about myself a little bit. I used to be a civil engineer. I'm still a civil engineer, even though I'm targeting IB. I did my internship at City during this summer, so I had no financial background at all. All that I learned before my interviews was thanks to the finance club. All the technical skills, all the financial accounting, corporate finance, all these very interesting topic that I was missing in my professional career before, as well as in my degree. So for sure, you have to put the effort, you have to put kind of long hours to get ready to face and to catch up, actually, to catch up with your peers that have financial backgrounds. But I could say by myself that this is not impossible if you don't have the background. Okay. So tools and resources. The biggest one, the mentorship program. I am really proud of talking about this because this actually changed my life last year. So you come to school, you have been admitted into a great MBA program. We're talking about top 10 program in the world, probably one of the best ones in Europe. Totally target school for investment banks in London and for many financial institutions all around the world. So what do you do? I mean, yeah, I know I have to get an internship for the summer, but how does it work? What do I get? How do I join the mentorship program? So it's a one-on-one program that will guide you through all the queries, all the cues that you would have over your first year, mostly over your first term, which is kind of overwhelming because you come to school, you have all the cases, all the academic requirements. IESE is very, very strong in academics. You have to be able to balance your time between academics and prepping for interviews, for internships. So that's why there's a mentorship program in the Finance Club that will help you cope with all the problems on all that. But at the end, this is not about the mentorship program running your candidacy for you. This is about you putting the hours, you putting the effort, and you being really motivated in order to succeed. Okay, so let's take a bigger picture about financial institutions. So what are financial institutions looking for? Well, data analysis and solve a problem and problem solving. This is quite obvious, right? Communication and leadership, finance acumen, attention to detail, relationship, client management, Excel, modeling skills, team players, highly motivated individuals. I don't know if you have noticed, but I have been talking implicitly about all this in my previous slides. So at the end, we really want people that is really motivated, that are team players, that actually excel their analytical and quantitative skills, but that they can face a client. So at the end, financial institutions are going to be facing clients in the long run. So you have to be able to talk to a client, to face them. At the end, you're going to be advising them in the most important situation, the more important decisions as an investment banker I'm talking right now. So this is the universe of full opportunities that you have in at IESE recruiting. We can talk about investment banks, companies like I don't know, all the bull brackets, financial institutions, wealth management companies, private equity, venture capital, and not only financial institution itself, but I'm going to be talking right now about financing corporations. So there's a good target of people, a good pool of people here at school targeting becoming a CFO in the long run. In the long run, how do you do that? You can do that. I don't know, maybe joining an investment bank for a long career, and after that you become CFO in a company of your clients, or you can start in a rotational program in a great corporation. Like it could be, I don't know, pharmaceutical companies, consumer good companies, luxury companies, energy companies. So we normally offer this kind of position for the summer and to join after that as a full-time member. So financing corporations. What is finance? So in the short term, I would say it's tactical, it's analytical, it's about managing liquidity, controlling costs, analyzing investments. But in the long term, it's about strategic. So we're talking about corporate development, like providing a long-term strategic vision. You will be able to be part of the main and of the most important decisions of your companies. What kind of roles are you going to find in finance, like in different corporations? So normally corporate finance covers treasury, controllership, marketing finance, commercial finance. You will be owning different products that you have to control budgets, control cost, managing liquidity, and also. So what skills do you need to outperform them? Analytical, of course. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this is all about numbers in the short term. Long term, another story, but you have to master the numbers. Finance, business, understand it. So it doesn't make any sense to try to join a company that you don't like, that you actually don't like their business. I mean, it's not coherent with your thoughts. People skills. This is sometimes obvious, but because we think about, finance as the guy with the cap, the glasses, like bookkeeping. This is not finance. This is old school accounting. That's not happening anymore. So you have to be able to talk to people, to be nice, to be likable. And strategic thinking, but you're gonna get a lot during the MBA. So let's pass over Roberto. He actually he changed career from an architectural background into wealth management, and I think that he's the best person to talk about this.
Hey guys, I'm Roberto. I'm from Mexico and El Salvador. As Jorge mentioned, I transitioned careers from being an architect to wealth management. I interned in Credit Suisse in Zurich over the summer as a relationship manager. So as Jorge mentioned, there are various opportunities within the wealth management part of finance. There are banks that recruit at IESE. Credit Suisse is one of the main ones. And this is mainly based in London and in Switzerland, but there are opportunities all over the world as well. So as far as roles, you can find the relationship manager role, which is what I did during the summer and what I'll be doing for the full time. This is a client-facing role where you're responsible for growing the assets under management of the bank and bringing new clients for the bank. Once you have the new clients, you're responsible you're responsible in handling the relationship with them and carrying that through and growing obviously their assets. So you become the link between ultra high net worth individuals and high net worth individuals that have accounts in Zurich or Switzerland or London, well, depending on where you go. And not only that, but you also become their link with other branches of the bank, like in the investment bank or asset management. So it's a really interesting position where you where you grow your network of really interesting people. And this is obviously based more on the relationship part of the job. Now, if you want to focus more on the financial part of the job, then the investment consultant role is more focused on giving investment advice to clients. You're in client, you have your client facing obviously, but you're more responsible for generating revenue from the assets under management that the relationship manager brought. So these are the two main roles. There's other opportunities, but these are the ones, especially for Credit Suisse. As far as skills, you need analytical, of course. You need to understand the basics, at least in finance and business. Like Jorge mentioned, I didn't have a financial background, but still you need to, during the first year, get to understand those skills. They expect you to know about them. And people skills are really, really important. They want to see that you're a person that can be seated in front of a client and that can manage the relationship. And obviously strategic thinking. And another one they're looking for is that you have a personal network of high and ultra high net worth individuals that you can link and bring to the bank to become potential clients. So overall, this is the wealth management part of finance. We can take more questions in the end. And now I think we go to Natalia, who will talk about asset management.
Thank you so much, Roberto. So yeah, the idea here is that we are gonna cover our deck, and after that you guys can jump in and ask questions. If any questions happen to occur you during while we are presenting the deck, just throw it to the chat and we'll be happy to answer. So Natalia, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Natalia. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my background and introduce asset management. So I did the opposite path as Roberto. I was a private banker, so a relationship manager in Brazil, and I decided to do an MBA to switch into asset management. So I don't know if you're all familiar with what is asset management, but basically is the companies or the sector that takes into account investments, including they put together a portfolio of investments, generally funds or mutual funds or ETFs or private credit bonds, and they put this all together into picking stocks, choosing bonds, investing in real estate and other kinds of investments. They are the ones that, for example, guarantee that pension funds have their passive and active balance sheet even every day. They manage high risks, and they were one of the first and I think one of the most important drivers into change in the financial market. What kind of skills do you need in order to reach that sector? Well, you have to be very analytical with everything in finance. I think that's a common characteristic. You have to have a huge technical understanding because generally in this kind of sector, it's more a B2B business than a B2C. You have to have a lot of interpersonal skills, so client management skills, or dealing well with teams within your own company. That's extremely important. That's why communication is one of your key assets that you can bring in to this sector. And of course, you have to be someone who is very involved into researching the market and knowing what's going on and to be interested in that. There are many kind of roles that you can have in that sector. The one that we specially recruit here at IESE is account manager and either credit or research analyst. So there was the main typical roles that we recruit through like 4 MBAs, but you have a portfolio analyst, you have many other roles as well. An account manager is basically the one responsible for the, let's say, the client-facing role within the account management sector. Research analyst is, for example, the person or the analyst that will do propositions or pitches of either stocks or bonds that will be used to put together in a investment portfolio. Some of our opportunities are, of course, PIMCO. We have Fidelity, Omar's, Capital Group, and other firms. Just here to talk a little bit further about other activities that the club develop. We have the IFIC, which is the Impact Investment Club for IESE community. So it's a fund that's already been here for already 4 years. We have around 30,000 euros, and we were trying to raise that to 50,000. The three main reasons why we manage and we run this fund is to bring impact, first of all. So how to positive impact society and the community, to have a great tool for students to learn. So how to invest, how to do due diligence, how to organize events, and how to organize competitions in order to provide even more funding and more knowledge, not only to us, but also to startups. And we also, in that sense, we put our IESE mission into practice because we develop our leadership skills and how to be ethical about business where we invest. We now invest in one company, it's called Cyclogreen. If you guys wanted to look it up, it's a very interesting company here in Barcelona. They basically have B2B business to promote, to decrease CO2 emissions by promoting employees for companies to go either on foot or by bike or by public transportation to work. We also have, we are creating, that's not this year, an investment fund for IESE. So this is a more traditional fund. It will be composed from equity and bonds. So what we want with this is also to provide a learning tool for students to be in that sector, in the asset management sector world. We also want to provide funding for school, like extra funding for scholarships when the fund achieves the target of more than 20% of return, and also promote financial literacy through either workshops and also challenges and pitches, not only for IESE students, but also for the community, because everybody could take part of it. This is just one slide and one explanation about our competition that we will have next year, and everybody is welcome. This year, last year, the competition of 2020 already, 8 schools participated. Among them is INSEAD, Cambridge, Oxford, LBS, CEBS, and I think also, yeah, I think these were the ones that I remember. And it's a very competitive challenge. We all are evaluating companies and startups in order to see in which one we would invest, and you have to do like a cash flow projection and things like that, and you will be judged by actually VC funds. So our jury are people from boards from VC funds all over the world, either Swiss funds or British funds or even Brazilian funds, who come here in order to provide their feedback and to choose the winner. And I think that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Okay. Thank you so much, Natalia. So we reach our 25-30 minutes of giving a lecture. So right now is your time to shine, your time to ask. We are going to be here for, let's say, 20-25 minutes more in order to answer your questions. So jump in. Otherwise, I can start to break the ice with a couple of questions that I know you guys are normally very interested in, like what is my likelihood of success into making the career switch? Okay, so you guys are lucky today. We have gathered here 3 career changers. I can talk about myself. As I mentioned before, I'm a civil engineer. Before the MBA, I didn't mention this. But before the MBA, I was actually designing dams and hydropower plants all over the world for a Swiss engineering company. This is nothing related to investment banking, as you can imagine. So yeah, I would say that chances of a career switch into investment banking are quite easy if you put the effort and the hours, for sure. And also, I think that Roberto already introduced his experience, his change. This is not only about position, but also about location and also about industry. So actually we have like a couple of triple jumpers, so they call us. And another question is like, what is the background of those, who got into investment banking post MBA? Did they possess similar pre-MBA skills? Well, I can talk about myself. I used to be very good at numbers. I'm still good at numbers. I've designed a lot of things, calculate a lot of things, but finance for sure was not one of my best skills. So I gained that over the first couple of months in the MBA, working pretty hard to be honest. But I mean, anything is possible at the end. There's nothing that is impossible that you can get if you are really motivated and if you really put the hours and the effort on that. I'm gonna try to open the chat because I think that people here is quite shy and they do not want to jump in.
I have a quick question. Do you guys in the finance club have any connections or speakers from green finance or ESG investing specifically?
Yeah.
So about green financing, you mean investing in ESG or you mean investing in social ventures? What exactly do you mean by green finance?
No, so green bonds, that sort of area. Do you know how most of the banks are kind of starting up there?
That's exactly one of it's inside our portfolio investments for the investment fund. We'll also invest in ESG, which involves obviously green bonds and blue bonds.
Yeah, I think I can speak for Credit Suisse at least. They're obviously going towards that direction. So many of the companies that are recruiting, many of the banks and of the corporate finance recruiters are obviously moving into that direction. So my experience in Credit Suisse, I was involved in some of
Can I just add some?
green investments.
Also talking about recruit, sorry, I thought you were mentioning our fund, but also talking about recruiting, we have a lot of VC funds and we participate. The school provides, we have a lot of conferences and forums that are going to that direction. So we are also running, but it's more, I would say green finance, more also related to VC opportunities. Not only banks, but a lot of VC opportunities.
Thanks, guys.
I just have a quick question there. I just want to understand if employers there value being a CFA charter holder for asset management and wealth management.
Okay, I think that was for Roberto and Natalia.
I can talk as far as wealth management for the investment consultant role. They do value it. I was working at the bank and one person from the team wanted to transfer from a role to being an investment consultant, and he was going through the CFA to make sure he got the role. So for investment consultant in wealth management, they do. Natalia, I don't know if for asset management is also valued.
Yes, the CFA is very much valued. In this position is actually, to be very honest, I would say even it's a requirement. I mean, not before getting the job, obviously, but throughout you will be requested to have a CFA for sure. And by the way, guys, just to mention, as a CFA, I know that so the school, IESE is one of the schools that is a partner with the CFA Institute. So when you are accepted at IESE, you can also apply for scholarships to get one of the degrees of the CFA. So that's also a possibility.
Okay, I'm just gonna take one question that I read in the chat. So IESE is based in Barcelona, Spain. We all know that, but it is true that many of the financial institutions are located in London so far. So will this put me in disadvantage to recruit for finance? I would say no, first of all. You are enrolling in a target school for investment banks, for many finance corporations. So the fact that you are here in Barcelona is not a disadvantage at all. Okay, just jump in while I'm reading.
Hi, guys. Thank you. I also asked one question through the chat, but probably to be more specific. You are, the three of you are focused in banking, and all that you revised was kind of focused in banking. What about corporations itself? You, Jorge, discussed a little bit about that, but in terms of the offers that are available for internships. Do companies go to IESE with the idea of recruiting people to be, like you said, future CFOs? And in that sense, what is the weight between banking and corporations itself in terms of internships?
Okay, so first of all, yeah, there are, I would say, quite a few companies coming to the school to recruit MBAs in order to make them CFOs in the long term. I can speak about a program that I know very well because one of my best friends is enrolled in. It's for PepsiCo, and it's a new MBA program that happens in the US for quite a long time, but in Europe last year was the first time, and IESE was the very first school in Europe that they recruit. That's for PepsiCo, for example. There are a lot of pharma companies like Novartis, GSK, Johnson & Johnson. I mean, there are quite a few companies that are coming to school for that. In terms of numbers, I really don't have the numbers right now by hand, nor in my mind, but I can tell you that there are many people recruiting for those positions. So normally those recruitment opportunities came a little bit later in the timeline. We didn't talk about this, but investment banking recruiting is the first recruitment event that happens in a school. And after that, a lot of companies still come to the school to recruit MBA candidates, either for their summer internship or for the full position. So yeah, there are a lot of opportunities out there. Okay, so let's talk about my field of control. So IB recruitment. So first of all, IB is a very interesting area, very competitive and very demanding. The earliest you understand that, the better it's going to be for you. So recruitment is very tough as well as the work. So you have to be very well prepared and very well focused since the very beginning of the year, of the academic year, so September, in order to join the mentorship program and to follow all the different steps that the recruiting is about. So you will have to do your networking activities with our alumni that are currently working in the banks. You will have to prepare your feed, your stories, like why are you a really good candidate to my firm? Why do you really want to go into investment banking if you used to be like a designer of hydropower plants, in my case, for example? So at the end, it's about making your story, your past, your present, and your future solid, merge it, and deliver it to the firms. So it is about showing motivation that you are really committed to the firm, that you are really committed to the job. Because at the end, many people try to join just an investment bank just as a step in the way to another industry. So yeah, it's all about showing your motivation, showing them you are committed, and of course, study a lot of the technical side of the job.
Guys, there's a question about PE and VC funds. So we have a specific club for PE and VC, and yes, they do have a mentorship program as well. Is there examples of people who graduated who've been hired? I mean, we know that IESE, I'm not sure, to be honest, about the numbers, but I know that a lot of people were hired through VCs to PEs. Do you know, Jorge? Yeah. Or maybe, yes, okay.
So regarding PE opportunities, even though it's not my scope, but I can talk about, yeah, IESE, I would say Omers, I would say Partners Group, I would say Carlyle also interviewed here last year. The numbers for sure are on the hands of the PEVC Club. I would guess that there is going to be another presentation from them. But yeah, I mean, don't worry about that.
Sorry, I just had another question there. I just wanted to understand, is it common that financial companies where people do the internship also offer full-time job post MBA?
Yeah, that's a very good question, David. So at the end, what's an internship about? I would say it's a real test or a live test of what are you capable of in the job. So yeah, the idea, if a company is doing an internship or an MBA summer internship program, they are just testing you in order to hire you as a full-time employee after your graduation. So for example, this is quite typical for investment banks, uh, other companies as well, like rotational programs in corporate finance, asset management companies, other banks like wealth management banks as well. So yeah, I mean, and trust me, it's quite a relief when you start your second year having signed already a full-time position.
Thanks for the presentation. Just another question here. Did any of you undertake global exchanges or plan on taking global exchanges? And did that offer you the access to the network and career resources of those other universities? Thinking here more towards the US and LATAM.
Okay, so well, first of all, we are in the middle of a pandemic or whatever. So this year was kind of different, I would say. There are a lot of opportunities to go abroad on exchange over the first term of the second year. The school has a lot of opportunities in the US. We're talking about Wharton, Kellogg, Chicago Booth, all these very well-known schools in the US. And yeah, you can apply to that. That is based on your grades over the first year, and you have to be with all your classmates. And in terms of networking, I would say that once you're there, you can network your way the way you want.
Thank you.
Okay, so what are good resources to really study pre-or the MBA if you have no finance background? Okay, so we are in November. You are supposed to join IESE in less than a year, right? So don't bother. Just enjoy the rest of your job or your time right now. Just have fun with your friends. Contact us back on over the summer, like August, June, July is a very good time to start asking the finance club, like, hey, mostly if you don't have a finance background and you want to go into one of the competitive industries like investment banking, it is good that you start prepping early in the way, but don't bother, don't even worry about this until July, August. Said that, it is always good that you know the industry. It is always good that you read the news, but this is just a general advice. I mean, you have to know what's going on in the market or in the world. So for example, I don't know, Financial Times, Wall Street Journal, those are readings that are gonna teach you a lot, and actually you're gonna be able to leverage that knowledge in the future.
I think Kavish has his hand up.
Yeah, thanks. Just a question about how is the timeline looking from the from the day you join the program and the amount of time you have to prepare for an interview for an internship. Is it kind of like manageable? You will have time to prepare in terms of the skills, technical question, etc., etc.
Okay, so I didn't hear properly your question, so I'm guessing my answer to your question a little bit. But if I understood properly, you were asking about balance. How do you balance your time while academics and prepping come into your way? So I would say
I think Jorge, he was asking about the timeline from when you joined to the application timeline, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for that. So the application timeline that differs a lot from company to company, from industry to industry, let's say this way. So as I mentioned before, investment banking is like super early on, like in a couple of weeks, our first year candidates are gonna have their first interview with the banks. After that, final interviews are gonna be in January at the beginning. So January, February, March is normally when corporations do their interviews. Yeah, I would say that finance, in a general picture, it comes pretty early.
Okay, and I mean, as someone who have limited skills in finance, do you think that September up to December would be like enough for us to be able to pick up on those things and to prepare for the interview eventually?
Okay. Yeah, well, so before I come to the MBA, I had no knowledge at all about financial accounting, for example. So for sure, you're gonna have to run the extra mile if you really want to pursue a career in finance and you haven't seen anything related to finance before, but it is manageable. I mean, it's nothing that you cannot achieve if you put the effort, you are really motivated to pursue a career in finance. I mean, you can do it.
Oh, okay.
Not easy, but you can do it. So,
I just have another question. Sorry there. I just wanted to know that besides wealth management and personal finances classes, which other classes do you think that are most used for this?
okay. So over the first year, the curricula for all first years is fixed. So we have over the first term, capital markets, financial accounting. Those are critical for your preparation. Financial accounting goes up super quickly. So you have to be very focused on following the case and doing all the numbers and all that if you really want to take the most of the steep learning curve that you're gonna get without a financial background. Later on, we have operational finance, we have corporate finance, we have managerial accounting. So there are plenty of courses for you to understand the finance world at all.
Yeah, I think second year we have mergers and acquisitions as well, which is.
Yeah, so I was talking just about first year because that like fixed curricula. Second year is another story. Everything is elective, so you actually focus on what you really want to learn. So in my case, I'm doing like a lot of finance courses, like I can say like mergers, acquisitions, corporate restructuring, wealth management, entrepreneurial finance, another finance. So a lot of finance. ESG and impact, that's true. Did you have a different target pre-MBA?
Yes, we got.
Okay, I'm gonna take that because I consider that interesting as well. So let's be honest. Everyone, when they think of an MBA, they think of investment banking and consulting, like historically. So it is fair to have some doubts between those two super clubs. I would say we are like the biggest clubs on the school. So of course you have doubts, but you have to clear the doubts quickly because the same that I was talking about for investment banking recruitment, that applies to consulting recruitment. So those recruitment process goes in parallel during the first term, and it is quite interesting if you can manage both of them, but I suggest that you focus on one of them early on. And yeah, but you can change your targets. I mean, it is always good to have a plan B, a plan C, if something that you really want doesn't happen, because that could be an option too. But there are plenty of opportunities to pivot or to change your mind over the course of 2 years. Indeed. Yeah, Roberto just said I wanted to do United States investment.
Is there any kind of age range the investment banks they're looking for as a candidate?
I would
Like,
say,
is it?
I mean, we have people with 27, 28 years old. We have people with 35 years old joining banks. So I would say that this is all about your motivation, about your capability to deliver the job, to deliver in the interview, to network your way. So age, under my point of view, it's not an obstacle. Will you touch upon how mentorship program works? People sharing similar career goals will be team up. Yeah, okay. So this is a good question. So even though I was talking about the mentorship program all over the Finance Club, if I go actually to my first slide, so wait a bit. So we have like different areas inside the club, as you know, as you see now. Let's wait a minute. Like we have like investment banking, wealth management, asset management, corporate finance, business development, or recruitment. So the mentorship program is going to be focused on your principal goals. So for example, I'm mentoring people that is interested in IB because that's the recruitment programs or the recruitment process that I know. But Natalia is running asset management preparation, and Roberto is running mentorship for people that are really interested on a career in wealth management. So this is all about what you want to do, and trust us, the school is diverse enough to have that previous background or that previous goal in one candidate in the second year. So we got your back, don't worry. Okay, so if everyone has already taken a picture of the QR, I'm gonna stop sharing because that way I can see you all for the last 10 minutes. Okay. Okay, now I see people. I used to be seeing just a deck. Okay, good. Anything else? Time to ask. Nothing, not even in the chat.
Guys, just to mention, sorry. Sorry. We are on LinkedIn. We can leave our names here. And if you want to add us and to follow the Finance Club page and to, I don't know, ask other questions later on, we're also happy to answer.
Yeah, so if we have no further questions, thank you all for attending. It was my pleasure. I'm happy to share my experience further on the way. If you have any doubts, just as Natalia said, contact us on LinkedIn or drop us an email, wherever. We're going to be happy to answer it.